Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into another amazing book.
Definitely. Always ready for a good story.
This time, we're heading to World War II France with Kristin Hannah's The Nightingale. It's more than just another war story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It goes way deeper. It's about the lives of two sisters, Vianne and Isabelle.
And how they deal with the choices and, just the impossible situations of war.
Exactly. What really gets me about The Nightingale is it's how it captures the war's impact, but on a personal level. You know what I mean?
Right. Not just the big battles and all that.
Yeah. It's the small acts of courage, the sacrifices people make, the strength people find.
Okay, so picture this. It's pre-war France, the Loire Valley. Think peaceful, almost idyllic.
Ah, sounds lovely.
That's Vianne's life.
Yeah.
The older sister. She's responsible, married to Antoine, has a little girl named Sophie, lives a simple life near the Carabot airfield.
Okay, got it.
Now, Isabelle, the younger sister, total opposite.
Uh-oh. Trouble.
You could say that. Always pushing boundaries, getting into trouble at boarding school.
Interesting. So it's not just about their personalities, right? It's like it sets up how they'll each react when things get tough.
Exactly. Vianne is like the traditional woman of that time. Wife, mother, taking care of the home.
Makes sense. And Isabelle?
Oh, she's restless. Yearning for, something more. Rejects everything society expects of her.
Feels like Hannah is, kind of hinting at how their paths will split as the war comes.
And boy, does it come. War shatters everything.
Yeah.
Antoine, Vianne's husband, is off to fight.
Oh, wow. So she's left alone.
With her daughter, yeah. Amidst all the fear and uncertainty, it's a huge change for her.
I bet, going from that sheltered life to
a fight for survival, protecting her child. Heavy stuff.
Definitely. So what about Isabelle? What's she doing while all this is going on?
Isabelle, true to form, runs away from boarding school, heads straight for the worst of it, Paris.
Wow, risky move.
Oh, totally impulsive. But it shows how much she wants to fight back, make a difference, even if she doesn't know how yet.
I see. It's like Hannah is using Isabelle's journey to show us the bigger picture, right? The chaos in France.
Yeah, exactly. She sees refugees, the breakdown of order, the fear. It's a brutal reality check.
No kidding. Makes you face the true cost of war.
And there's this scene, it's really sad. She finally reaches her dad in Paris, hoping for support,
Yeah.
But he's indifferent, almost rejects her. It's clear something is deeply wrong in their relationship.
Oh, wow. Heavy stuff. And that's got to affect her, right?
Oh, yeah. It adds this whole other layer to her actions, her defiance. Almost like she's trying to prove something.
To her father, yeah. I get it. It's not just patriotism. It's deeper than that.
Exactly. So Vianne is back in her village trying to keep things normal while everything's falling apart.
Right.
And Isabelle, she finds herself right in the middle of the resistance.
Wow. Fighting back directly.
Yep. Hiding in the woods outside Paris with a group of freedom fighters. It's a turning point for her.
She finds her purpose.
Yeah, got it. That rebellious spirit finally has a worthy cause.
It makes you think, it wasn't just about finding the cause, it was finding herself.
Yeah, like the war, awful as it is, it's forging her into someone new. Someone courageous, someone compassionate.
Right, and fighting for what's right. Okay, so we've got Isabelle in the thick of it. What's going on with Vianne?
Well, Vianne's got her own challenge. Captain Beck,
Who's that?
the German officer. And guess what? He's billeted in her home.
Oh, no. Talk about an unwelcome guest.
Right. It's brilliant, though, from a storytelling point of view. It puts Vianne in this constant moral struggle.
I see. Hates the occupation, but has to live with the enemy. Every interaction is a test.
Yeah. Loyalty to France versus protecting her daughter.
Yeah.
Tough choices.
Definitely. And then Isabelle shows up.
At Vianne's doorstep. Battered and bruised after some trouble with the Nazis.
Oh, man. Reunion.
It's a tense one. Their whole approach to the war, it clashes.
I bet. It's like a microcosm of what was happening all over France, right?
Yeah, exactly. Isabelle is all about active resistance, fighting back no matter what.
And Vianne.
Vianne is more about survival, protecting what she has. Neither is wrong, and Hannah makes us consider both sides.
That's what makes it so good. Makes you think.
It's like a pressure cooker, Danger everywhere. And then there's this scene. Isabelle, defiant as always, is listening to a forbidden radio broadcast. Charles de Gaulle.
Oh, that's risky.
Super risky. And of course, Captain Beck takes the radio. The tension in that house, you can feel it.
Wow. Shows how dangerous even the smallest act of defiance could be.
Exactly. And for Vianne, every choice matters.
Yeah, Isabelle's idealism doesn't see that yet.
Right. Then there's the list.
List. What list?
Vianne is trying to help a Jewish colleague. Makes a decision.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's a decision that'll have consequences she never imagined.
Plot thickens. It sounds like things are about to get really real for Vianne.
They are. And we'll pick up with those consequences in part 2 of our deep dive.
So that list, right, it becomes this, symbol for Vianne.
What do you mean?
It makes her see the truth about what's happening, the horrors.
The weight of that decision. It's a lot to carry.
Absolutely. She realizes using her connection to Captain Beck, it backfired. Big time.
And the people she tried to save, they're in more danger than ever.
Heartbreaking, right. But it also kind of makes her even more determined to resist, even if it's dangerous.
It's a turning point, for sure. She's not the same Vianne anymore.
No, she's more resourceful, more willing to take risks.
Exactly. Starts hiding Jewish families in her attic.
Whoa! And gathering information for the resistance.
All while pretending everything's normal, right under Captain Beck's nose.
That's intense. High stakes, for sure. She's living a double life.
It's like she's playing a role, the compliant housewife, while secretly working against them.
And she's not the only one facing these impossible choices. Remember, Rachel.
Vianne's Jewish friend. Oh, that scene where she has to wear the yellow star. So powerful.
Chilling. You really see the Nazis' persecution becoming official everyday life.
It's a symbol of fear, shame, a constant threat.
And Vianne sees this happening to her friend. Can't just stand by.
Makes her even more determined to help, to risk everything.
And then they try to get Rachel and her kids to the free zone.
Oh, that escape attempt. It's just devastating. Sarah's death, Rachel getting caught.
It changes everything for Vianne. No more illusions of safety.
The brutality of it all. It hits home hard.
The war isn't some distant thing anymore. It's personal.
And what does she do? She takes in Rachel's baby, Ari.
Wow. That's a huge decision. So dangerous.
But it shows her courage, her compassion, even in the face of that tragedy.
Think about it. It's not just saving a child. It's about believing in humanity when everything's so cruel.
Choosing hope, resistance. It's powerful.
So Vianne's finding strength. What about Isabelle?
She's becoming a key player in the resistance, like a real force.
The Nightingale, right.
Yes. Risking her life to help downed Allied airmen escape.
Remember how she was back then? Reckless. Now she's the skilled operative.
Using her smarts, her charm, to outwit the Nazis.
Her missions, though. It's so dangerous.
It's edge-of-your-seat reading, like when she smuggles that injured airman onto a train.
Pretending he's a peasant. I remember that. So clever.
Right. You feel the tension, the fear, but also the thrill. She's doing something incredible.
We talked about Isabelle needing her father's approval, remember? I think that's still part of it, but it's bigger now.
What do you mean?
It's not about him anymore. It's about something bigger. Freedom for France. Saving lives.
They're both making a difference in their own ways.
Yeah, but the risks are getting higher.
And then Isabelle's network. It's compromised.
Oh.
Leads to a huge loss. It's going to change everything.
Their father. Arrested. Killed.
It's devastating. For both of them. For Isabelle, it just fuels her anger, makes her want to fight back harder.
And for Vianne,
it isolates her, pushes her to the breaking point.
So much loss.
And then she does something incredible, goes on this desperate journey to Paris.
To find Isabelle.
Yeah, save her from the Gestapo, even if it means risking everything.
Wow, this is Vianne taking control, not just reacting anymore.
She's fighting for her sister. There's this scene, she's caught in an air raid. In the Paris metro.
Oh, man. Can you imagine?
The darkness, the screams, it's terrifying.
Hannah really puts you right there in the moment.
Doesn't she? And in the middle of all that chaos,
they find each other.
They reunite. But it's not a happy ending. Not yet. They've both been through so much.
Liberation is one thing, but there's still so much to deal with.
Trauma, loss. The future is uncertain.
The war might be over, but the effects linger.
And that's what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're talking about the aftermath. The Nightingale doesn't just end with the war, you know?
Oh, it goes beyond that. It's about the scars, the rebuilding.
Exactly. Hannah really digs into what it does to people, the impact of war on their souls.
It's a side we don't often see, you know?
Right. We think about the battles, the heroism, but what about after all that?
What about picking up the pieces?
Yeah, the emotional toll, the broken relationships. How do you find meaning after everything's changed?
Exactly. And the Nightingale doesn't try to give easy answers.
Nope. Take Isabelle. She comes back from those camps. She's not the same.
Not at all. haunted by what she saw, what she lost.
It's brutal. It makes you realize war leaves wounds you can't always see.
You see her struggling to connect. Even with the liberation, there's this sadness, like a feeling of being lost.
It makes you think about the cost, not just during the war, but after.
Right. What happens to these people who fought so hard after the fighting stops?
Tough question. Isabelle's journey, it shows that psychological impact, trauma, deep stuff.
Healing takes time, and it's messy. Some scars might never go away.
And Vianne, even though she seems strong, trying to rebuild their life at Le Jardin.
She's carrying so much too.
The guilt over Captain Beck.
Turning him in. She did it to protect Isabelle. But it still haunts her.
That's the thing about war. The choices you have to make. Sometimes there are no good options.
Right. It's not always clear what's right, what's wrong, and the consequences. They stay with you.
And then there's the secret she keeps. About the baby.
Beck's child. It's a complicated situation, to say the least.
It is. You feel the guilt. But also, there's this connection to Beck. He was the enemy, but
there were moments of humanity.
Hannah's so good at writing these layered characters. Beck isn't just evil. He's a person, capable of both.
Cruelty and kindness. And Vianne, she has to confront her own feelings, see him as more than just the enemy.
It's really interesting how that relationship develops.
It adds this whole other dimension to their story. And then Antoine comes home.
You'd think it would be a happy ending, right?
Reunited after all that time. But it's not that simple.
He's changed. A prisoner of war, they've both seen too much.
They're almost strangers, trying to find their way back to each other.
And Vianne's pregnancy, that doesn't make things easier.
Not at all. It's like the war, even though it's over, it's still affecting their lives.
Its impact is everywhere. In their relationship, in their future.
Hannah shows that so well. It's not just about battles and dates. It's about the lasting effects on people, on families.
Powerful stuff.
But even with all that heartbreak, there are these moments of hope.
Yeah, little victories like Vianne's love for her children, Sophie and Ari. That's what keeps her going.
And Isabelle, even though she's hurting, she finds comfort in art.
A spark of that creativity coming back.
It's a reminder that even after so much darkness, people can heal. They can find their way back to the light.
And then years later, Julian, Vianne's son.
He finds a box in the attic, right?
With Isabelle's journals, her ID card, Juliette Gervais, her wartime identity.
It's like a secret history, uncovered.
And it shows the power of stories, of remembering what people went through.
It's also a reminder that history is all around us, waiting to be discovered.
And Vianne finally tells Julian the truth about Isabelle, the Nightingale.
That scene, it's so moving. Sharing that grief, but also the pride.
It's important, you know, to break the silence. Let Isabelle's story be told.
It's healing for Vianne, too. A way to honor her sister.
And then Vianne goes to this reunion, the resistance fighters.
She's hesitant at first, like she doesn't belong, still carrying all that guilt.
But when she walks in,
they welcome her with gratitude, respect.
It's a beautiful moment. Recognition for her own courage, what she did to protect the people she loved.
It shows that even small acts of resistance can make a difference.
Absolutely. And she meets the people Isabelle saved. The airmen, the families.
Sharing stories, tears, laughter.
It's about connection, finding solace in those shared experiences, even after all the darkness.
And then Vianne shares Isabelle's story, the Nightingale. Tells everyone about her bravery, her resilience.
So powerful, keeping her memory alive.
That's what makes the Nightingale more than just a war story. It's about the human spirit, the power of hope.
It makes you think about the choices we make, how we face adversity, the importance of love and resilience.
It's a story that stays with you long after you finish the book.
It reminds us that history isn't just about battles, it's about people, their courage, the stories they pass on.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Nightingale. We hope you'll check it out yourself. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep diving deep.